The Legendary Hero Summoning event for June is here, right in the midst of summer. This banner features a special 5-star focus rate of 8% and the non-focus 5-star rate is set to 0%. That means if you do pull a 5-star unit, it's guaranteed to be one of these 12 heroes. Not a bad time to get any new 5-star characters, but be aware trying to get one specific unit may be a bit difficult. This banner lasts for roughly a week, but for any summer banner enthusiasts, do know there will be a second summer banner a few days after this, so keep in mind how you want to spend your orbs. In this video, we'll talk about our 12 heroes briefly and also going over what valuable skills they have to offer should you get someone you don't want. But first, we have another legendary hero. Legendary Eliwood has arrived shortly after his son, and it's been a great year for him. If you're a newer player, do be aware that Legendary Eliwood is not the special Choose Your Legends Eliwood. That one will be out in a couple months, and you'll probably be able to choose him for free if you so desire. This Eliwood is a Sword Cavalier, and it's to represent his promotion class in his game. The original Eliwood in Heroes already had his horse, but that was probably because they didn't want too many starting infantry sword lords. Anyway, this Eliwood has a bit of a different job than his other forms, so that's something to keep in mind. Legendary Eliwood is a wind legendary hero, and he has the pair up ability like Legendary Roy or Alm. Pair up is usable in our two newest game modes, Allegiance Battles and Rooker's Sieges, and from my experience, it's been a very nice ability to have. Before we talk about Eliwood's new skills, he has two good old ones. Deathblow 4 grants Eliwood plus 8 attack when initiating combat and seems appropriate considering old Eliwood stacks attack like no one else. His B skill is Chill Attack 3, which debuffs the enemy with the highest attack stat with a huge -7 attack. Very good skill for helping the whole team and neutralizing deadly enemy attackers. Legendary Eliwood wields the Ardent Durandal, a 16 might sword that gets a flat +3 attack tacked on. We don't know Eliwood's stats just yet, but I can assure you he'll probably have a great base attack. Combined with Deathblow 4, this dude will probably hit very hard. Now for the second effect, at the start of the turn grants bonus doubler to ally with the highest attack stat. Okay then, now this is interesting. Bonus Doubler is a great ability because it basically doubles the effectiveness of field buffs on a unit. It only grants this effect to the ally with the highest attack stat, so when you put Legendary Eliwood on a team, you can control who gets this buff. I assume Eliwood himself cannot get this effect, although that would have been really cool. If you aren't aware, it appears that Bonus Doubler can stack, or at least it does for Legendary Marth, who has Bonus Doubler on his weapon. He can equip the A skill version and will essentially become Bonus Tripler, aka a +4 attack field buff gets him +8 attack in combat buffs for a total of +12 altogether. I imagine this means Ardent Durandal can do the same for other units, and in the case of Legendary Marth, potentially it can stack again. Not completely sure how this interaction works, but if you're interested in this, I would wait till after Eliwood releases and someone tests it out. Alright, so Ardent Durandal is pretty cool, but now our ally with Bonus Doubler needs some field buffs to benefit from it. Say no more, because Legendary Eliwood also has Vision of Arcadia, his own unique C skill. At the start of the turn, if a dragon or beast ally is deployed, grants attack and defense +6 to ally with the highest attack stat for 1 turn. So the synergy here is pretty straightforward. The highest attack ally on your team will get Bonus Doubler from Ardent Durandal, and then get +6 attack and defense from Vision of Arcadia. That means +12 attack and defense for that ally. This is a great ability, similar to the opening type C skills. It just requires Legendary Eliwood to be on a team with any dragon or beast unit, and it will activate. I also want to make clear that should you have multiple allies with the same highest attack stat, then all of them will get the buffs from both Ardent Durandal and Vision of Arcadia. Theoretically, Eliwood could buff up his entire team, but you're gonna have to have units with the same attack stat. Either way, it's looking like a very good support kit. But wait, there's more. Legendary Eliwood also introduces Rally Speed and Resistance Plus to the game. He can grant +6 speed and resistance to one target ally. What a coincidence, that allows Eliwood to buff all 4 stats with +6, and the ally that gets Bonus Doubler can turn that into +12. I will say that if you try to go the route of having multiple allies get the same attack stat on a team so that they get all the buffs from Eliwood, then maybe think about using a Rally Up Plus assist skill. This one can buff up multiple allies, not just one, but it's only +6 and 1 stat. They aren't very readily available, but it's something to think about. So overall, Legendary Eliwood is quite a unique unit. Instead of all-out offense like his original Sword Cav form, this time he's all about supporting his team, well, at least one team member. His weapon is basically just a 19 might sword, but at least he does have Deathblow 4 as well. He may be a decent fighter, but that's not his main role. Ardent Durandal and Vision of Arcadia can turn an ally into a nasty stat bot, plus they both work from anywhere on the map. Legendary Eliwood just needs to get near them should you also want to rally them, which is probably what you want to do. I do think the wildest thing is that Eliwood can give bonus doubler to cavalry, flying, and armor units from anywhere. Besides the obvious Reinhardt usage, there's some monsters like Fallen Young Tiki who I really don't like encountering. That Tiki can give herself plus 4 to all stats, combine that with bonus doubler, plus Eliwood can boost her stats even more, and well yeah, I don't want to face that. Apply that logic to just about any armor unit and Eliwood is going to be a very fun support unit. He's very similar to Caden, who provides the bonus doubler effect to allies within 2 spaces. That's very good for defensive play, but Legendary Eliwood allows attackers to move away from the team to make aggressive moves, and that's because his bonus doubler effect is a buff on the unit. It will be very good on lone wolf type of units, for example Walhart or Legendary Ephraim. These are guys who get stronger when not near their teammates. We'll have to see how Legendary Eliwood turns out, but if you want a support buffer, then he's looking like a great choice. Moving on, let's now discuss our 11 other units on this banner. In the red group, we have Legendary Eliwood, Legendary Roma, and New Year's Harid. Blue has Legendary Ephraim, Legendary Lucina, and Selkie. Green has Gunthra, Mythic Yoon, and Hot Springs Hinoka. Finally, Colorless has Vimo Grima, Brave Veronica, and Hot Springs Sakura. We talked about Eliwood enough, but if you're looking to fodder him, then he does have the new Rally Speed and Resistance Assist skill. Death Blow 4 is fun, and then Chill Attack is good too, but I wouldn't sacrifice it over the other two. Legendary Roma is a sword flyer, one of the best offensive ones you can get your hands on. Great attack and speed, but a rather awkward base kit. Raijinto has distant counter and Kestrel Stance grants plus 4 attack and speed when attacked, but Ryoma doesn't really want to be on defense. Luckily, his unique Bushido B skill is great, adding plus 10 damage on special procs and works wonders with more offensive setups. I would say Kestrel Stance has very limited uses, but guidance is still quite good if you run mixed teams. On the complete opposite spectrum from Legendary Roma is New Year's Harid, incredibly slow but much better defensive stats, and his Geishon weapon has a chill attack effect. He is made for tanking and has attack and defense bond and quick riposte, both good skills for that. I believe this Harid is still the only one with Hone Attack 4, which grants adjacent allies plus 7 attack. Very simple but very effective. Besides his weapon, this is a very nice buffing skill for inheritance. If you want to summon Eliwood this time, it's not that bad if you don't mind getting 2 strong flyers on the side. Next we have the blue group, starting with Legendary Ephraim. He's a great offensive Lance Cavalier that wants to charge into battle first. Flame Sigmund gives Ephraim a follow-up should he be surrounded by more enemies than allies, and works great with Gale Force builds. Solar Brace gives Ephraim the ability to heal while still using pure damage specials, or he can heal better with Soul, Noontime, and Aether. Sturdy Stance is really his only worthwhile skill for inheriting. Next is Legendary Lucina, one of the few blue archers and the only infantry one currently. With some great attack and speed and a bow that gives more stats when fighting melee enemies, Lucina can be quite dangerous. She is also extremely annoying because of Future Vision, which lets her swap with an ally and then move again. I almost hate seeing her more than seeing a dancer in Aether raids. A very good defense team unit because she can be very unpredictable as an AI. For skills, Swiss Sparrow is always fun, but Distant Guard is the rare option. Last we have Selkie, a blue beast cavalry unit. She is very fast but doesn't have a lot of attack or defense. Her resistance is high however to work with her weapon. Foxcat Fang gives Selkie bonus stats if she has more resistance than her melee opponent, and the bigger the difference, the more stats she gets. With even Res Wave, Selkie can be deceptively tough to take down. Attack and Speed Bond is a good bond skill, but it's also a sacred seal. Selkie is the only one with Sabotage Attack, and that debuffs enemies who have less res than her, plus are standing next to another ally. Lots of good skills to inherit here. Our third group is Green. Gunthra is a green mage cavalier that's all about debuffs. Her weapon Blizzard gives her more damage the more debuffs on the enemy. Her Chilling COB skill guarantees the enemy with the lowest defense loses -6 attack and speed as well. She has Fortress Res to boost her res stat to be able to use Res Ploy better, and that's to spread more debuffs. Res Ploy is fine to inherit, but I don't think Fortress Res is very great anymore since Fortress Defense and Res now exist. Next is Mythic Yoon, and she's a flying green mage. Very similar to Gunthra, Yoon is all about debuffs. Her weapon Chaos Manifest gives Yoon +6 attack and a follow-up on any enemy with a debuff or negative status effect. Very powerful stuff. She applies debuffs with Sabotage Res and with Chaos Named, which inflicts a debuff on foes within 3 columns of Yoon as long as she has more resistance than them. A very interesting unit, and I do use her myself on my 8th Raids defense team where she can be very annoying. Either Attack and Res Bond or Sabotage Res are good skills to take from her. Last, we have Hot Springs Hinata, a flying green dagger user, great attack and speed, and she has 2 skills that increase both stats as well. Attack and speed Bond is fun, but attack and speed Link is better since it can buff an ally as well. Air Orders grants flying allies extra mobility, but it can be tricky to utilize fully. Some very rare skills here, but Hinata's weapon is another thing to keep in mind. The Splashy Bucket is an inheritable dagger that is effective against dragons, and it disables adaptive damage. That means Hinata can tank dragons with her res stat instead of her very low defense stat. Dagger units may not be all the rage, but for those enthusiasts, the Splashy Bucket is definitely a weapon you want to get. Moving on to colorless, we have Fimo Grima, who admittedly, I'm starting to miss now that we have more colorless legendaries and mythic heroes. She's a flying colorless dragon, pretty unique, and her Expiration Breath gives her distant counter. This is great because her dragon skin A skill protects her from archers, which is a very nice thing to have on a Fire Emblem team. Still, the only unit with res smoke hitting enemies with a -7 res debuff, that can be very great on teams with lots of mages or dragons. As for cancel affinity, it's great in very specific cases, but otherwise just not very good. Next is Brave Veronica, probably the best cavalry healer because of her very good attack and speed stats. Her weapon has Dazzling Staff plus buffs Veronica while debuffing enemy teams. She has Wrathful Staff to deal full damage, and with any kind of good A skill, just becomes a very annoying long range attacker. You really should have her if you don't already, easily one of the best units in the game. For skills, Veronica has Windfire Bomb Plus, that grants +6 attack and speed to all allies when she heals someone. Close Guard gives nearby allies extra defense and res versus melee threats, and as always, Wrathful Staff is useful for healers that want to deal damage. Last on the banner is Hot Spring Sakura. She is a flying healer, which is pretty rare, and also has decent attack and speed stats should you want her to deal damage. Grand Scratcher Plus is an inheritable staff that grants -1 special cooldown to the ally with the highest attack stat on turn 1. Speed Opening grants the ally with the highest speed stat with +6 for 1 turn. Sakura also has Fire Flood Bomb Plus, which grants +6 attack and res to all allies if you want a healer special. Physic Plus and Wrathful Staff, 2 more good skills. It's a pretty good time to summon colorless should you want Wrathful Staff or 2 pretty strong unique healers. That wraps up this legendary banner, but for those who are still here, I want to discuss pair up a bit more. Legendary Eliwood being our 3rd pair up hero is nice since it's becoming more and more useful. Our 2 newest modes, Allegiance Battles and Rooker Sieges, both allow the pair up mechanic to be used. It makes a difference in Allegiance Battles especially because you need at least 1 legendary hero with pair up to get the maximum amount of bonus score. Should also be noteworthy that pair up heroes get a second bonus, which is bonus arena scoring properties. Legendary Alm and Roy both get treated as having 175 base stat totals for arena scoring purposes, and that's more than the normal dual skill amount. There are currently no dual cavalry skills, so it's possible Legendary Eliwood doesn't get the full 175 BST boost, but if he does, then that is really good. He is mainly about being a support unit, so bringing him to buff your bonus units in arena won't bring down your score too much if that's a concern. Do also want to mention that if you're watching this video the day it's been uploaded, know there is maintenance scheduled later on, so do what you gotta do before that. That's all I gotta say for now. Please share your thoughts on Legendary Eliwood or the banner in general, and I'll see you guys in the next one.